Okay, I know that we usually do this on our sports betting channel, but honestly, looking at the lines today, I want to be doing this on the main channel just because I really think there are some spots that we can be going through and taking advantage of. If you don't know what I'm talking about, so we've been doing a $1,000 bankroll challenge this season where we've been going on Underdog Fantasy and getting some player props down every single week. Now, these player props are essentially, we're looking at it and you'll see the examples right here. We've showed this off in the live stream quite a bit. Actually, if you're looking at it, you got like Jameis Winston, 199 passing yards. And what we'll essentially do is we'll go bet the over, and then you find another over you may like in that game, and then you can bet the other side. And actually, before we do anything else, let me just give y'all our results over the past few weeks because of course, it's a $1,000 bankroll challenge. I have to be completely transparent with what we have done and how we have done over the past few weeks. But of course, make sure you go down there, drop a like on this video. And if you want access to any of these bets at any point, they're doing these every single week. And also, we're getting drafts on Underdog Fantasy every week as well. They do drafts, they do player props. And I'm not going to lie, these player props look beatable. I mean, I know a lot of people in the live chat have been telling us how they've been beating them. I will say I'm surprised to see it, just understanding how this kind of stuff works. But yeah, let me go through and let me show you all how we did. We actually won $100 last night off a $10 bet. And if I can find these screenshots, okay, perfect. Here we are. And let's go through, show this off now. And if you're going to be pulling this up, okay, so on this first bet here, I believe this is our most recent set of bets. So we're just going to essentially go through and add these up to make sure we know where we're at and where we stand for the total. And now keep in mind, I've not done this, so you may see some embarrassing live stream math on display right now. Actually, we got to scroll this down just slightly if we're going to be able to see everything. Okay, so on this first slip, you'll see that we won. Okay, so 100 minus 50, then we're down to 40, then we're down to 15, then we're down to negative 10, then we owe them 35. Now on this next slip here, however, I mean, we're actually up 115, then we're up we're up 95, up 75, up 45, up 15, down 15, down 45, and then here is the big one, plus 240. So if we're down 45 plus 240, that's 195 right there. We are up. And then here, this washes off, minus 60 plus 60. And then if we're looking at this, we are up 140. Then we add 120 on there. And then if we're up that, it's like what, 260. Then minus that, we're at 220. Okay, so it looks like we are up 220 so far on the season through the first 3 weeks. Yeah, let's go through and let's check this out. But like I said, make sure you go drop a like on the stream. Make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be sending out that link for y'all to join Underdog Fantasy right now in the live chat. And most importantly, go join Underdog Fantasy, because when you join Underdog Fantasy and use promo code FLOCK, you get $10 added to your account. You get a max deposit bonus right away. You also get to get into drafts with us. You get these player props. You get daily additional entries to win a Fantasy Flock Network hat. And this is something we haven't talked about a lot because I really, really want it to happen. Now, if we get 10,000 signups on Underdog Fantasy this season, they're going to be flying people out to go to the Florida Flock meetup with me, as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. So please, our videos are getting over 10,000 views. Let's just get there right now so we don't even have to worry about it. But yeah, let's go through and let's check out these player props. Okay, Daniel Jones, when they first put this out last night, they had Daniel Jones at like 285 yards, which of course was going to be a strong under. Here at 255, I think it's more a stay away. I'm really disappointed we weren't able to get money down on that line last night whenever it was clear that the under was going to be a smash. Now, first scrolling down here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire does look intriguing because this is total yards here at 72.5. This is not just rushing yards. And then from beyond this, you're looking at Jameis Winston, 190, essentially 200 passing yards here. And I think we're just going to continue to scroll down. I'm going to at least make 5 bets here. We'll at least call it 5 bets. And the strategy with the bets that we are going to be looking for is we're going to be trying to take the same side. So if we're going to be betting the Davis Mills under, then we want to also be betting the Brandon Cooks under, understanding that what will eventually happen is if you get enough correlation in your starting lineup, we can go through and we can make 5 or 6 bets. And if one outcome happens in a certain game, we're more likely to just go through and spike, because y'all saw our ticket slips. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make 5 bets every single week. And when you bet $10 and you pick 4 sides, you win $100 off that $10 bet. So we're trying to go through and we're trying to just find a couple spots where we can just win one of these bets. We can have a profitable week overall. So keep in mind, a lot of these bets you're going to see us making, yes, they're a low probability, but we're going to be making enough that we only need one to hit. And now going over here, I think one of the first bets that we're going to be looking at is going to be this Amari Cooper at 63.5 receiving yards. So, of course, Amari Cooper has been very disappointing, but if you're just taking a step back, I mean, you're understanding that this is a player that's been dealing with a rib injury. I think with Amari Cooper here, he should be healthier by the time that he gets to Sunday. Now, I don't necessarily know if we love this number. I know we've been boring. I more so just want to scout it out. Then we can go through and we can work our way back and try to find some bets. Of course, if you see something in the live chat right now that you like, make sure you let me know what you like. And yeah, scrolling down here, Derrick Henry, 116 rushing yards. I know that Derrick Henry going up against the Jets, a lot of people are going to want to slam that over. I'm probably going to be staying away just because that's such an aggressive number. One thing I want to do, though, is I'm definitely going to be betting the under on Jacoby Brissett and the under on Jalen Waddle. I know Jalen Waddle looked fantastic this past week. Will Fuller playing here, and if you looked at the adjusted yards per attempt by Jacoby Brissett so far this season, Jacoby Brissett could be easily in consideration as the worst quarterback currently in the NFL. So with that being said, I think we want to be taking the under on Brissett. We're going to be taking the under on Jalen Waddle. Now, if we're going to be trying to find another way that we can maybe jam in some correlation in this starting lineup, maybe we do take the over on Jonathan Taylor. It seems like an aggressive line at 86.5 rushing and receiving yards. But here, if we're going to be assuming that they're hitting the... Actually, you know what? Let's not even bother with that. This is going to be a very simple bet just because I like those two lines. We're going to bet 25 to win 75 on this, essentially saying that the Miami Dolphins passing attack are not going to necessarily be as impactful as what we once thought. But you know what? Let's also go and take this over on Calvin Ridley. As the over on Calvin Ridley is looking good now that it looks like Russell Gage is going to miss this week. So that'll be a $20 bet to win 120 in return. So yes, it's a long shot, but I mean, we only need one of these to hit if we go through and make 5 or 6 of them. Now, if we're also scrolling, I mean, David Montgomery against Detroit, this is a very intriguing line now that he does have just a pretty good matchup against the Chicago Bears. Obviously, y'all know I'm not a massive fan of David Montgomery, but at least that's intriguing there. Scrolling down. I think Robert Woods, 4.5 rushing yards. Y'all know Robert Woods, my guy. You have Cooper Kupp at 89.5 receiving yards as well, and what should be a really nice matchup. I think here what we mainly want to be doing is we want to be betting that this game is going to actually be higher scoring than most people want to assume. I think that you're going to see a lot of points overall in the Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals matchup. So if that's going to be the case, I think it would be intriguing to slam some of these overs. And you know what? We're going to go through and we're going to do just that. We'll take the over on passing yards for Stafford. We'll take the over on receiving yards for Kupp. We'll take the over on total yards for Kyler Murray. And yeah, this is going to be us essentially betting that this game is a very high scoring. Y'all saw that we bet on the game in Miami being low scoring. Here, this is a long shot bet, so we don't have to bet that much money to win that much. We're going to bet $20 to win $200. Actually, if that's going to be the line, we're just going to bet $10 to win $100. And then we're going to go through, maybe make some more, because if we're making those bets where we're getting 4 options in there, I think we really have the option to do a lot. And with one of my confident bets this week is going to be the under on Teddy Bridgewater passing yards. I know Bridgewater's looked good so far this year, but I don't want to necessarily just go through and assume that that's going to be the case throughout the entire season. I mean, if we have a bunch of priors on Teddy Bridgewater where the passing volume should be pretty damn low. So against a tough Baltimore Ravens matchup, I think here taking the under on Bridgewater is going to make a lot of sense. But the problem is, if we're trying to get some correlation in our starting lineup, I really like this number on Courtland Sutton at 63.5 receiving yards. I really like this number on Noah Fant at 40.5 receiving yards. Like, this is like kind of showing us that the math doesn't necessarily check out here unless you're expecting that the running backs and Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams are going to combine for a lot of receiving volume. And unless you're expecting that you're just going to go through and get a decent amount of production from Tim Patrick, which I'm personally not. I think here, this is like something that doesn't make sense. You all know the majority of the time what we are trying to do is we are trying to get the correlation in. When we bet the under on the quarterback, we're trying to bet the under on his receiver. But it's so hard to do that with this Denver Broncos matchup. Of course, we're not going to be betting the under on Bridgewater and then the over on Courtland Sutton in the same ticket slip. Instead, what we can do is we can go through and maybe just say we like this line and we can find correlation elsewhere that we can get onto the same ticket slip. Like maybe we bet the under on Teddy Bridgewater, and then like they have Teddy Bridgewater right now for 14 passing yards less than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, we're going to bet the over on Rodgers, the over on Davante Adams receptions, and the under on Teddy Bridgewater. So yeah, we're going to go through, make this bet, and we're also going to go on a different bet and bet the over on both Courtland Sutton and Noah. Actually, we don't have to do both Courtland Sutton and Noah Fant, because then at that point, we would essentially we would have to bet the over on Bridgewater. But I think betting the over on Courtland Sutton is going to be very advantageous here. This is someone that's had a considerable amount of volume as of late. And at the same time, I mean, no KJ Hamler, no Jerry Jeudy. They're going to have to go somewhere with the ball. And I think that could be Courtland Sutton. So let's bet the over on Sutton. And very similar to what we just did, let's bet the over on Rodgers, the over on Davante Adams. I really like both of these lines that we're going to have against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I saw some people in the chat saying that they wanted us to go look at that Ezekiel Elliott line. And yes, if you're looking at Ezekiel Elliott, right now they actually have the line at 82.5 rushing and receiving yards. One thing that I want to discuss, though, is if you're looking at this Carolina Panthers run defense. This Carolina Panthers run defense so far has been one of the best run defenses in the entire NFL, to a point where I think it does deter us from wanting to go in that direction. I think we do want to avoid that. Now, with this being said, one thing that I also think we want to be attacking is Davis Mills. Y'all know Davis Mills has been horrendous in the limited action that we have seen. And I know that we kind of saw Brandon Cooks go off last Thursday night, even with Davis Mills only having 163 passing yards. But I still think betting the under here would be very intriguing from an overall standpoint. The problem is they're going to be down so much in this game that they're going to have to continuously throw the ball, or maybe that's just going to be a stay away. What's going to be a smash, however, is betting the under on Baker Mayfield. I mean, the under at Baker Mayfield, 252 passing yards. This is what, like 10 passing yards off of where they had Aaron Rodgers? This is a Baker Mayfield with no Jarvis Landry either. We're going to bet the under on Baker. And then from here, I think we don't even necessarily need to find correlation in this lineup. Like we don't have Odell Beckham Jr. to look at. Instead, we can maybe pivot over to a different game, and we can just go back to that bet that we liked previously with the under on Brissett and the under on Jalen Waddle at the same time. So let's bet these three unders. And of course, we're going to keep track of this. I don't necessarily know if we're going to be doing live streams on this channel versus the Fantasy Flock sports betting channel. We'll definitely keep y'all updated on that. I don't necessarily know if we'll be giving this update on this one or the next one. Just depends on how this live stream really does on YouTube on this channel, if we're going to be honest. Now, lastly, let's go through and try to find one more bet here. Let's try to find one more bet. Of course, in the comment section, let me know what your favorite line was that you were looking at. Let me know how stupid I was for what we decided to go with. And of course, these are going to be available all week. They have this every single week. This is Underdog Fantasy. This is our partner of the channel. I mean, we do fantasy football drafts on Underdog Fantasy. We do these sports betting videos on Underdog Fantasy. And I mean, like we said, we've had a lot of success here. And make sure y'all go sign up for Underdog Fantasy with promo code Flock. Please make sure you do that sign up. You get a max deposit bonus with promo code Flock. You get daily entries to win a Fantasy Flock Network hat. At the same time, you support this channel more than you would ever believe. And if we get 10,000 signups on Underdog Fantasy with promo code Flock, you actually, have a chance of getting flown to Tampa, Florida to go to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game with me. Now, our next pick is most likely going to be, I hate to say it, this Deebo Samuel under does look very appealing, but the problem is I don't want to take the under on Jimmy Garoppolo 1.5 passing touchdowns. So I think we will avoid that. Najee Harris here at 54.5 rushing yards. Like, am I missing something here? What's the game log looking like with Najee Harris? Obviously, this is someone that had a considerable amount of usage in the receiving game, and obviously it's a spot where Ben Roethlisberger is just tanking this entire offense. But if we're pulling this up, Najee Harris, he has not hit 54 rushing yards a single game so far this season. He's at 40, 38, 45. So, if this was total yards, of course, we would actually be staying away from this. But if this is rushing yards, I guess we can maybe make a bet that Aaron Rodgers and the Davante Adams-led Green Bay Packers offense just get up so large at the beginning part of this game that the Steelers have to abandon the run. So, we can maybe bet the under on Harris rushing yards, which that's a low number, but he hasn't hit it once this season. But the over on Rodgers, the over on Davante Adams, one more time, just because, I love my boy Davante Adams. We'll do 20 to win 120 on this bet. And yeah, I think that should be it. Of course, y'all can go to the comment section. Let me know how stupid I am. Y'all can let me know any bets that you make, especially on the live stream tonight. Make sure you come out. Let me know any bets that you made on Underdog Fantasy, so maybe I can go through and I can look at it one more time. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Really hope y'all enjoy this. Really hope y'all